So I was reading a couple sources, LA Times, Clutch Points, and also just mulling through a few others as well. But I was reading that Russell Westbrook is starting to get tired of his haters, tired of all the negativity that they have to say and everything that comes along with it. And, I have to say, Russell Westbrook, he does take a lot of hate. He does take a lot of criticism, but understandably so, Russell has to understand as well, you've made yourself into this type of player. The player that you are or that you were or once were was very exciting. You still have some excitement left in your game, but at the same time, you also have a lot of disappointment in your game as well, which means turnovers. When we look at one game specifically, the game that Kawhi Leonard didn't play against the Orlando Magic, him and Paul George were available. And to me, they still should have won that game because, first of all, you have two potential Hall of Famers on the floor. The Magic have potentially none from what I can see so far anyway. And you should find a way to win that game at home because, you got the momentum. And plus, like I said, even if they weren't at home, it doesn't matter. You got Paul George and you have Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook did, say that game specifically was on him. He had like 14 points, 9 assists, I think, or 9 rebounds, somewhere in there. But he also had 6 turnovers. I know that for sure because I pay attention to Russell Westbrook's turnovers more than any other stat line that he has. And when Russ says that he's tired of the haters, in which you could read, as I told you, LA Times, Clutch Points, a couple other sites, there is a issue with that because, you're tired of the haters, but the only way to really get rid of them is to play your game. Now, one thing I will say in regards to what Russ said in his statement about being tired of the haters was just the fact that, he can, he just wants to play. He just wants to play. He just wants to go out there and hoop and not listen to the naysayers and all the antics and all the BS out there. Just wants to go out there and hoop and play his game. And I understand that. Russell Westbrook definitely has that right, definitely has the right to feel that way, definitely has the right to think that way. And that's the way he should feel. And that's what I want Russell Westbrook to do. If he's going to be on the Clippers and if this team is still going to have aspirations of winning a championship, Russell Westbrook has to understand you got to go out there and play your game. Don't worry about the naysayers. But the bad thing about this situation to me, it lets me know that he's listening to the naysayers out there. Now, I've been one of the people that's been critical of Russ myself on a lot of occasions because of how he plays and, the things that he does during a game sometimes that can help a team lose rather than better their chances of winning. I've been one of those people who's been critical of Russ, and I will definitely be honest about that. But at the same time, my criticism of him, I feel like, was just at the time. And I'm pretty sure anybody else who feels that way about Russ, anything he's done in games in regards to mistakes or turnovers, their argument was just at that time as well. And that's what Russ has to understand. I know he's tired of the hating. I know he's tired of people disrespecting his game and how he plays and what he's planning on bringing to a team in regards to his gameplay. But Russ can only control that. You have to make yourself a lot more vulnerable. If you want to win a championship, you got to turn the ball over less. You got to know when to do certain things on the court. You can't just play like you played in OKC. And I feel like Russ is getting to the point where he's starting to understand that. But at the same time, it's like with you understanding that, it's great. But are you going to remember that in moments where it really counts, where this team needs to win, where they need to win big games and big moments against, great teams and things like that? Because he wasn't understanding that great, apparently, with the Lakers from what, the notion is and plus what we saw. But I do think with the Clippers, there is a lot more, it is a lot more better environment for Russ. I mean, for what I'm seeing. And I feel like Ty Lue really, appreciate what Russ brings to this team. So he's really trying to find ways to, ingratiate that in this team and allow it to flourish while this team wins games. And to me, Of course, it's all going to ride on Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George also, but mainly Kawhi Leonard because they seem like they can't really win without Kawhi Leonard for some reason. I thought they would have beat the Magic, honestly, without Kawhi Leonard. I thought that was an easy W. But regardless of that, my point is, Russ is a big part of this operation, and I'm glad that Russ is saying the right things, that, he's going to focus on, playing basketball, trying to hoop, and not worry about the other stuff. And, you hear that stuff and all that, but it's just, talk. But at the same time, the fact that he's really acknowledging it and speaking on it aloud in the media where they can hear it and it's getting out in the media, that tells me, Russ is paying attention to the wrong things and not, paying attention to, his game more. So hopefully going forward, he'll pay attention to just his game, what he can give, how he can help this team. Because I know the Clippers started out 0-5 with Russ, and it was a lot of talk at that time. And, Russ was one of the first ones to say they got the monkey off their back when they won their first game before they, went on the 4-game winning streak that they had. And it really kind of just balanced things out a little bit. But Russ is going to have to understand that, people are going to talk. This. You've been in this league long enough to understand it. You've been in this league long enough to know how this works. Fans are going to talk if you're not living up to expectations, and they're going to talk when you are living up to expectations. So Russ should have just focused on his game and focus on what he can give to the Clippers, because the Clippers are on a quest for a championship. Nothing less. You know what I'm saying? And that's really where they are. And the only way they can get there is with your expertise and you making less mistakes as possible to better their chances of actually getting to an NBA Finals. Because a lot of people believe now it's going to be even harder, if it damn near impossible, to get there with Russell Westbrook, with you on the team, Russ. So this is my point. Russ got to understand, you're here to do a job, but you're also here to help this team win. And I don't know if Russ got it in him to be a championship caliber point guard, but hopefully, he can find his stride, and hopefully they can just keep riding Kawhi along with PG, and, Russ just chip in, with maybe, double digits, when he's in the game. If he's able to get that, if he's not able to get double digits, don't take it. You know what I'm saying? Just take what the defense gives you at this point, because it's all about winning with this team. It's not like with the Lakers. The Lakers were trying to figure it out. This team is on a quest for a championship. So with that being said, as I said before, Russell Westbrook I like what he said. I need to go out there and hoop. I'm just going to go out there and hoop and let the rest speak for itself. I like what he said. You know what I'm saying? I like, his mentality towards that. I just don't like the fact that he's paying attention to it enough to where it might be affecting his game, so he won't be the player that the Clippers need. But hopefully all that'll change going forward. They'll have the player that they need in Russ. And on top of that, hopefully, in the end result, regardless, of how they get there or how hard it may be to get to the top, possibly, hopefully, championship.